Before we get into this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Silver demand will exceed supply again this year. 32,000 tons of silver will be produced against 34,000 tons of demand. Mining.com, an online-only news site covering the global mining and metals industry, sourced the data. And this proves what global gold investments have long warned the market about. U.S. transition to renewable energy will put pressure on silver productions. Silver is used in solar cells, industrial fabrication, and the automotive industry. There will be a future increase in demand in the field of nanotechnology, along with the food industry and printed and flexible electronics. Demand will increase by 54% by 2030. There's no better time to invest in Noble Gold Investments right now. Noble Gold Investments will walk you through the entire process, and it will take you no more than 5 minutes to open a gold or silver IRA. And this month, you'll get an incredible free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin with a qualified IRA of $20,000 or higher. Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with Noble Gold Investments. Call the team now at 877-646-5347 to find out more, or you can just visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Now, let's get to this video. Man, y'all hear that? Those backfires? Well, those backfires ain't got nothing on what we're about to hear come out of MSNBC. Y'all, you talking about a backfire. Oh, it's gonna sound like they shooting, y'all, because they had the nerve to do a town hall meeting where they brought in some Trump supporters and asked them some questions about January 6th, you know, because January 6th is supposed to be the worst thing that ever happened since Pearl Harbor and World War I and World War II and the Civil War and all of those things. And maybe they're trying to ask them some questions and trip them up, make them go ahead and say something stupid or paint them as some hillbilly type people who don't know the facts and just supporting anything Trump say. Any type of narrative. That's why I had to come out in my big old American hat just like this, because I'm going to get myself somehow right up in the middle of this town hall meeting that I seemingly was invited to. I won't be in there to say what I got to say too, okay, as a Trump supporter. And here's the problem. They're not interviewing radical liberals. They're not interviewing people who don't do research when it comes down to what's going on in the news. It's very hard to bring in real conservatives or Trump supporters because of the problem that they have all over the internet. Trump supporters know too much. They're smart. You can't pull the wool over their eyes. You're not throwing all of these narratives out there at people who just go about their day, just I guess whatever the media tells us is cool. We do the research. That's why we are pain in the butt to MSNBC, CNN, all of these big tech companies, and the Democrat Party. And it's about to be on display. So I don't know what she was thinking. Maybe she was thinking she could hit him with a quick curveball or something. But boy, does this backfire. And I'm shocked that they would even air this stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this, man. Woo-wee! Somebody go get my revolvers so I can go ahead and participate in this backfire.
Doug Mastriano was at the insurrection and he was photographed breaching one of the restricted areas. Is that okay?
Which area? Because I saw a video where Capitol officers were taking away barriers and unlocking doors. People. So, I mean,
they opened the gates.
So it shouldn't be disqualifying for an elected official if they participated in January 6th?
He didn't strike anybody. He didn't hurt anybody.
And the only one that died was a protester there, not a Capitol police officer.
An unarmed female veteran.
That's the only one that died.
That's the only one who died.
A police officer did die.
No, it was a stroke. That's not on site.
Caused by that. That's because he shouldn't have been a police officer. It was one woman.
So what do you make, though, overall of January 6th? I mean, it was, watching that footage, it was pretty disturbing. I mean, there were people throwing excrement at the walls, and it was...
See, there we go again. Excuse me, I like to interrupt. Once again, you done dropped about 3 or 4 misleading statements. First of all, the police officer did not die because of January 6th. His mother even came out and said that he wasn't beat over the head with a fire extinguisher and all of that stuff, like you guys were saying for the first couple of days after the riots took place and all of that stuff. So that was one misleading statement to your audience, and we caught it because we're smart. But then the other thing is this feces and stuff on the walls. First of all, where'd they get the feces? Who's carrying feces around? I don't know about you, but I'm not okay with taking a dookie and putting my own poop in a bag, or even if it was dog poop, nobody wants to be carrying a bag of poop, okay? And you're telling me that these people brought that poop there and slung it up on walls and all of that stuff. Now, we've now learned that they were just simply tracking mud through, but it was an easier and more convenient narrative to say that that was poop instead of mud. So why are you still using these? I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt. I shouldn't even be here in this thing right here. Let me go ahead and give it back to. Continue. Okay.
Was our, it's the Capitol.
It looked a lot like Antifa's action.
Yeah, it looks
to
a
me.
lot, except on a much smaller scale. It looked the same as the Black Lives Matter riots.
That's
what
true.
I saw
That's
the
true. I agree.
similarities
You're around the country.
Minneapolis
It works.
burns, Kenosha
But so it's
burns,
okay just
Waukesha
because,
burns.
just because.
Uh-oh, what's this?
Correct
Democrats in
their force as peaceful protesters.
Peaceful.
The vast majority of the protests have been peaceful.
And they're going and just pulling people off the street to make it seem like there are problems going on when all that's happening are peaceful protests.
On our peaceful protesters' ability to get out at night.
Most of these protests have been peaceful.
I applaud these protesters.
The majority of these protesters are peaceful. They have been peaceful for weeks.
It has continued, for the most part, peaceful.
It was peaceful. We had a number of peaceful protests.
Man, now, I'm just saying, I hate to interrupt the town hall meeting, but that little clip that we just saw shows that the Democrats have been supporting actions by Antifa and Black Lives Matter that look way worse than what I saw on January the 6th. I mean, in fact, I'm sorry, miss, did you remember when, they all tried to burn the White House down and the president had to go in the basement? Did you don't remember that? How about when they set the church on fire? Okay. How about when they burned down the police station? Do you remember that? No? Okay, you're talking about January 6th still, okay. What about when they shot David Dorn? Or how about when they start pulling people out of cars and beating them all over the place, dancing on top of cars, looting, robbing, shooting, all of those things? You don't remember that? While the Democrats watched that and said that these are mostly peaceful protests. And it wasn't just one day. It wasn't one day like January 6th. It was a whole summer. And you all were supporting that mess, okay? But hey, I don't want to take up all the time at a town meeting. I just had to come in because I was watching these intelligent people next to me and stuff destroy your narratives because we're smarter than that. So I wonder what's your game plan after you go ahead and try to get them with these gotcha questions, and then they go ahead and beat your tail and this backfires on you. Well, we're going to have to wait and see what your backup plan is. Let's continue.
One side that you disagree with.
I'm
is
saying
okay
Antifa
for-
infiltrated.
Good for one, it's good for
Yeah, I saw some
Anybody who
Antifa.
harmed anybody who caused property destruction, that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah,
If you're
on
there
either
making
side.
your voice heard at the people's house, no less.
Right.
That's again, it's a fundamental constitutional right of
There
an
you go.
American citizen.
I don't see what the problem
People
is.
should not be being held political prisoner.
Yeah.
Because of it.
For misdemeanors. That's East Germany.
That's East Germany.
It's East Germany.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
what's scary.
It's East Germany.
It was an actual fiery but mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah.
And the other ones that were the opposite.
Was the protest legitimate in your
Our
eyes
administration, I
because
feel like, is using it as their Reichstag fire.
That's true.
That's exactly what they're using it as.
Oh, I agree with what that man just said because, see, I've been watching the news and I've been seeing how all these FBI agents have been coming out as whistleblowers saying that the FBI was purposefully trying to undermine the Hunter Biden laptop and all of that stuff. And then they were signing all of these warrants and stuff to go after Trump. I had seen that and stuff on TV. And then I also saw how they raided his house for nothing. And then I also had saw how these FBI agents were going ahead and whistleblowing, saying that you guys were falsifying all of this data, trying to go after Trump supporters and conservatives and label them as extremists and stuff. And even making the FBI work on compiling false data to show that extremism and white nationalism is the greatest threat to America, and taking them away from serious things like, child trafficking and pedophilia and all of those things. That you don't want them working on that because, see, you guys got a bigger agenda. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say you guys as far as like MSNBC. You know what? No, forget that. I'm going to go ahead and include you guys. MSNBC and the rest of the fake news along with the Democrats. You guys got an agenda to paint this narrative to be bigger than it is and to also use this narrative of extremism and rise of white supremacy and greatest threat to the homeland and domestic terrorism to go after patriots and conservatives and your political opponents. I didn't mean to get that deep into that. I was just trying to respond to her question. Go ahead, man. Don't mind me. Continue.
Do you think that President Trump could have quelled the violence that day?
What?
Not him.
I don't think so.
No.
It started while he was still speaking.
Yeah.
I was actually there. I was there to see what I thought was going to be the last time I ever saw Trump. Little did I know.
So did he tell everybody to go and start rioting?
No, I didn't hear that. Did you? Did you hear
And
that?
after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
And let me guess. Start a riot, go in, grab Mike Pence, Nancy Pelosi, drag him out, hang Mike Pence on that little teeny bitty rope with those gallows that were real compressed and small and too short to even hang him. And the wood looked like it was unsturdy and all of that. And somehow with cell phones and MAGA hats, hold it down, make sure you stop the votes, and then wait until I get there so I can give you some more instructions. All of these things. That's what he's going to say. I'm sure that's what I'm going to hear. Considering I've been hearing for almost 2 years now, these people blaming President Trump for telling them to go over and do all of this stuff. So let's go ahead and hear it.
Cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building.
To do what? To do what?
To peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country.
Right on, brother.
Our country.
Actually, I stayed for the whole speech. Like a ton of people did. Mm-hmm. And then we all headed to the Capitol because he said, let's go to the Capitol and peacefully let our voices be heard. And we get to the Capitol and we're like, what the hell's going on? Because it had already happened.
They shoot again, backfiring.
I'm sure I saw Democratic operatives instigating people to cross barriers.
Totally.
You were there that day.
I agree.
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I mean, why would he tell people to do that? Why did the people who did that not wait around for him to tell them to do that?
Oh! Now I have to intervene because that was an amazing backfire and amazing counter by that lady right there. So let me get this straight. Before Trump even finished his speech, people like Bigfoot Ray Epps, who had been there for 2 days straight telling everybody, go into the Capitol. 2 days straight, that guy whispering in people's ear, and all those young people who should have been over at the rally but was over there posted up in front of that little bicycle rack, waiting for the go-ahead to go ahead and push past those 1, 2, maybe 5 police officers that look very relaxed and stuff. Remember when Bigfoot got that phone call and he mentioned something to that young Antifian-looking dude, and then they breached the Capitol. Now, my question is, if Trump was still over there speaking, then how did they get the message to go ahead and do it? Or, go over to the Capitol and let your voices peacefully. It sounded like they were all renegades. Sound like they weren't sitting around taking their orders from Trump. Now, why is it that these people, these basic, everyday people, these ordinary people, why is it that they can come to these conclusions and these smart MSNBC commentators can't? It's because these people right here are conservative, smart people who actually are informed and too informed for this lady to pour that bullcrap on them. And that's why they got to censor us, shut us down on the internet, suppress us, because we got common sense. And what that lady just proposed is basic common sense. You can't say that those people who didn't even go to the rally got their message from Trump if they started acting a fool before Trump finished. Boy, we're so smart. Let's continue though.
He said that around the end of his speech, if I remember correctly. Yeah. It happened before he even said that, I believe. I mean,
the timeline, didn't he speak? Because he was back at the White House and then he tweeted. So
that was after the riot started.
People were still there
and stuff. Yeah, but it started while he was still speaking.
Thank you. Don't try to trip us up with that mess.
He didn't do anything for this amount of time. It's like, well, he was giving his speech.
Thank you.
Why did Nancy Pelosi deny his request?
Actually,
I was thinking the same thing.
National Guard.
Yeah. Well, it actually isn't in Pelosi's power.
What?
To deploy National Guard. Well, she's Speaker of the House. She has no authority over that whatsoever.
Excuse me.
Frankly, I think that's a good thing.
Excuse me. Well, if that is true, Miss Fake News commentator, if that is true, then why did she then afterwards bring in the National Guard if she don't have the authority to do it? I mean, because she used them as props to set up a perimeter around the Capitol for a couple days or so, just to pretend that their lives were still in danger. And The next thing is Trump was still the president at that time, so he had the ability to authorize that, and he was trying to do it, but she rejected it. So even if she didn't have the power to bring them in, Trump made it accessible for her, and she chose to reject it. So now what do you have to say, Miss Smart Woman? You think we dumb, and that's the problem.
Isn't she in charge of security? If there
She is. That's what I was telling her. I was just telling her that.
Then why didn't she preemptively beef up Capitol Police?
Right.
Which she does have the authority to do.
Another backfire.
Capitol Police are there.
But apparently they were taken off guard.
Oh!
Yeah.
Another one? Man, this is backfiring all over this lady. Apparently they were taken off guard. See, there we go again. Every counter that this woman is trying to throw at these very intelligent people are backfiring on her because they're propaganders. That's why. And we're too smart for them. So they got to revert to doing stupid things like banning us and suppressing us and all of that stuff like they do and like they did me. But let's move on because she's about to go back to her backup. See, right now she's getting beat up. This whole interview is backfiring. So she gonna go ahead and call in the cavalry.
This is, I really don't know where to start here. It's Nancy Pelosi's fault. It's Democratic operatives' fault.
Buddy, my name is John Sullivan.
There's one of them right there.
City, Utah. My group is Insurgents USA. We're about to burn this shit down.
I wonder why Joe Scarborough didn't see this video.
Power to the people!
Power to the people?
Power to the people!
That sounds pretty militant to me.
Damn right. We got to rip Trump out of that office right now and pull him out.
Potty
that shit.
mouth.
Nah, we ain't about to wait until the next election. We about to go get that.
Sounds violent.
I ain't about that shit. Because you know what time it is? I want y'all to be after me. It's time.
It's time for what? The insurrection? Oh, no. Okay. For a revolution.
For a revolution. It's time.
It's time. Time for a revolution. Now, do you think he's a white nationalist Trump supporter right there? Does that man seem like he would have been going over to the Capitol with good intentions? He's talking about going over and ripping the president out of the office. And we just heard Joe Scarborough say, he's blaming it on Democrat operatives. That guy didn't say he was a MAGA supporter. Yeah. So let's go ahead and see who he really is. Oh, left-wing activist John Sullivan. Oh, left-wing activist charging Capitol riots. Oh, after saying that wait. Wow. Joe Scarborough didn't see this. He must have not seen this. Antifa, he's a part of Black Lives Matter. Wow, this is
John's
crazy.
brother James says he first learned his brother was at the U.S. Capitol when friends started texting him these pictures.
Oh my.
Then John posted video to YouTube.
I'm just trying to record.
He was going in there to document it, but he also was part of the Antifa groups.
I also, want to support the Black community out here too in the best way that I can.
Black Lives Matter too.
I believe the Black Lives Matter. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just anti-government type shit.
Oh, anti-government.
Burn this shit down.
Go burn it down.
Let's go.
Now, this was before Trump
shit's
got done
hard.
speaking.
Fuck yeah.
Now, why is that black
I can't believe this is reality. We accomplished this
BLM dude in the crowd with the... Do those look like Trump supporters?
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? Is he calling Trump supporters, bro?
Well, they already broke
Or is it
windows,
the
so
200 plus
I didn't know I had
Antifa
to
he invited there?
No one got that on camera.
Okay. Yeah.
What reality is this?
Yeah, does that guy look like he was a Trump
we did
supporter?
this shit. We took this shit.
Yeah.
but it's all fake. My face is not on Instagram. I learned that shit already.
He's revealing his diabolical
scheme. I'm gonna wear a Trump hat. I bought one today. I was wearing a Trump hat at the Trump rally during the daytime.
Why would you do that? You don't like
I was
Trump.
like, nah, that shit ain't happening, bro.
Now, wait a minute. Why would this dude who supports BLM and Antifa, why would he have a Trump hat on and show up at this rally and pretending that he's a photographer and all of that stuff, and he really wasn't a Trump supporter? And yet we saw just a couple days prior, he was up there talking about going to rip Trump out the White House. That's blowing my mind, see, because that would appear that he would be an operative disguised as a Trump supporter that helped provoke this whole thing. And then what blows my mind is he was saying that we've accomplished things. We did it. What did you do, Johnny boy? Did y'all do what Trump said? According to the media, Trump wanted an insurrection which would overturn the votes, which would also result in Mike Pence being hung and Nancy Pelosi drug out and I guess killed in the middle of the Capitol or something like that. But this guy, he was celebrating prematurely if he was a Trump supporter inspired by Donald Trump to launch an insurrection because he was already celebrating. We did it. Because, see, it would appear to me that with the minimum amount of things that he did at that point, and yet he still said, we did it. Could it be that the goal was not to do all the stuff that they're claiming that Trump wanted them to do, and instead just to breach the Capitol and make it seem like we're trying to have an insurrection, but we didn't make it. But there's probably more information we need to check out, because we heard y'all Scarborough just go ahead and try to downplay what these smart people was saying during that town hall meeting.
Yeah, I was. Oh, yeah, I was just a journalist, but I use that all the time.
Oh, use it all.
Yeah, I'm just a journalist. I'm here recording. I got my camera on my shoulder. Literally have my big ass camera on my shoulder right here.
For deception. Oh, there it is right there. We did it.
I was trying to tell you. I couldn't say much. You just have to watch my channel. Is this not gonna be the best film you've ever made in your life?
It is the best film. It's time.
Hey, so were you? Yeah.
Uh-oh, he
were
shot
you
now,
at the
y'all.
Capitol? Are
Where
you
you going?
BLM?
Cat got the tongue?
Are you Black Lives Matter?
Come back here.
John, can you just answer? Are you Black Lives Matter with Black Lives Matter? Or are you with the
now,
righteous
y'all.
people? Are you Black Lives Matter?
Don't be
John?
rude. Don't be rude.
Are you Black Lives Matter?
No, this is. It's the Capitol Police's fault.
Well, let's see. Huh. There's the Capitol Police right there. What are they doing? Oh, looks like they're really resisting those Trump supporters. Wait a minute. Why are they going up the stairs and the cops are standing down at the bottom? Should they be? Oh, there's the guy that they, instead of being Ray Epps, this is the guy with the horns that's in jail for like a couple years.
You good, sir? Do you need medical attention?
Oh, nice cop too. You good, sir?
Chance I can get you guys to leave the same way.
Wow, such a nice cop. Because I'm thinking if these were domestic terrorists that was trying to launch an insurrection and one of them was hurt, would you think the cop would be walking around without his weapon drawn? Do you think the cop would be asking one of them, are you good, sir? You need medical attention? I mean, if this was the Taliban and they was in there trying to blow up or terrorize the Capitol and one of them got hurt, do you think the cop would be that relaxed to check on arms? Wait, stop it. Hey, are you okay? Are you good? You need anybody? You call anybody? Do you think that? Do you think all this politeness would be taking place as we're watching this right here? Unbelievable. Because, I mean, it's hard for you to sell it to me that this was an insurrection with the goals and objectives that y'all said it was, when I'm not seeing that on the inside. And where's the rest of all of this video footage that Nancy Pelosi won't release? Nicely asking, can y'all leave?
I'm not one to usually take pictures of myself, but in this case, I think I'm making an exception.
Look at that. Let's see what the cop is doing. Hands on the hips. Go ahead. I'll wait. Oh, look at these cops. Pointing. Right there, this way. Go right there. We support you guys, okay? Cop walking away. Maybe MSNBC didn't see that.
I'll talk over it. You can go ahead and play it.
Here we go.
Kind of scroll through
This is
it.
my favorite one.
And
now, wait a minute.
He's coming in.
Yeah, y'all see that? Y'all see those very accommodating insurrectionists when that stocky cop with no gun, no stick in his hand, simply put his hand up, put it on that young man's chest, and it was a whole bunch of them. And that young man said, oh, okay, go ahead. You're telling me the insurrectionist is going to halt the insurrection and let this guy go get prepared first, right? Now, is he getting prepared to stop them or is he getting prepared for something else? Let's see.
They're coming up.
Oh, yeah, look at
Now
the fake
watch
stick.
what comes over. Whoops.
Okay,
There it is.
oh.
A photographer is conveniently poised to catch all the action.
That's
amazing.
It is.
A protester that comes with his own photographer.
Wow, so it appears that really he wasn't going to get prepared to launch a resistance against the insurrectionists. He just wanted to get that stick to get a photo shoot. So that they could catch him appearing to be fleeing from all of these wild, crazy insurrectionists, domestic terrorists, white nationalists, Trump supporters. Very interesting. See, now I'm starting to become a little concerned. I'm starting to question this whole narrative that they've been trying to push. But you know what? Hey, with no further ado, let's get back to this whole performance, apparently, because that's what it looks like that's taking place. A performance. Oh, there he is again, waving everybody in. Yeah, somebody, yeah, come on in, y'all. But wait a minute. It's insurrection.
He was waving them in.
Yeah, man, this is ridiculous. And they're still trying to convince people with this crap. How do you explain that?
This must have happened before Trump finished his speech.
Before his
speech. Well, this image here shows that the security was taking selfies with people rushing into the building.
Isn't
that a daisy?
It is
Trump
a daisy.
Supporters were beating the hell out of everyone trying to set the building on fire.
No Antifa. Huh. No Antifa.
Why are you letting this happen?
Good question.
Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed.
Why?
For what? Call for backup. Get some help down here.
Right now.
And if they don't want to back up, they obviously don't give a shit about you.
True.
These people want blood.
And so does Nancy Pelosi and all of them. So, Joe Scarborough said we were blaming the police and stuff. Did he see this video right here? Let's see. Where are these people going? No sense of urgency by either the people or the cops. Hands in their pockets. Wow. Just right on in. Wait, is that a cop walking up the stairs with his arm around one of these insurrectionists? How do you explain that? Somebody please tell me. Somebody send this to Joe Scarborough, because he's confused. He's dazed at these people that was in the town hall meeting pointing all of this stuff out, and he's scratching his head like we're deceived. So our lying eyes are deceiving us, right?
You go through all of this, Elise, and then we hear things like it's a fundamental right to peacefully protest, if they were peaceful protests.
Is that not true?
They are inside Statuary
That looks
Hall.
pretty peaceful.
This is a legendary place where all of us who've covered Capitol Hill, it's hard to believe what we're seeing right there.
Yeah, it is.
They're just
Because y'all told us it was an
walking through
insurrection.
Capitol Police.
I'll bet there's not a single high school field trip that's visited the Capitol that
So
was
true.
this well behaved.
That's so true,
and
Mark.
these people are political prisoners who've gotten
what's
locked
this?
up, and that again.
No, wait a minute. See, their job is to come out and try to clean up that beating that the commentator just took during the town hall meeting from these very, very smart and informed Trump supporters. And now here Joe and his crew is trying to come out and say, let's recapture the narrative, okay? They were way smarter and informed than we thought they were, and our Jedi mind tricks didn't work on them, and we can't let our audience walk away thinking to themselves, wow, those people kind of made some sense. Maybe I should look into this. So our job is to say, no, before you start listening to your best friend say,
girl, you need to leave him. He ain't no good. He be beating on you. He don't pay the bills. He way backdated in his child support and all that stuff.
before you do that, look at me, girl. They trying to break us up. You know what I'm saying? She trying to come between me and your love. I told you don't be listening to your friends. See, that's their job. Their job is to get those folks' heads turned right back to the narrative. And they're doing it several ways. But look at this. Notice this. That very peaceful, gentle picture on the left of my screen where they're just walking. Why did MSNBC not choose to show that footage? Instead, they're showing the footage from the outside when they initially breached. But why aren't they showing this footage on the inside? Could it be that they are trying to reinstill the image that this was only violent? There was no peaceful parts of it at all.
They're saying it just that they were mainly peaceful protests and that nobody died except for a protester. There are 4 cops who died.
Now, see, here's the thing that I'm confused about. If you look at the picture on my right, those people would look like they have a sense of urgency. They look like, man, soon as we get through this door, we gonna go sprinting, trying to find Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence to hang them. Yeah, no time to look at the pictures on the wall. We don't need to walk between the velvet lines. Nah, no time for that stuff. We gotta go hard in the paint. No time to walk slowly upstairs with police officers. No time to allow a police officer to put his hand on my chest and tell me to wait right there. And I said, okay, go ahead, man, go ahead. Let me get my stick. And I'm saying, then y'all could come. No time for that. No time to go in there and take selfies, talk to cops, pray. You would think those people right there, if that was their goal and objective, when they'd have busted in, we'd have saw, instead of them walking between those velvet ropes, they're ripping stuff down, attacking police officers running, shooting backwards, trying to save their own lives. You would have thought that, and it's not happening. But you want us to believe that this was a violent insurrection, worse than Pearl Harbor, World War II, worse than the Civil War and all of that, and it's a hard sell. It's a very hard sell because you're going to have to either hide this other footage from people or you're trying to get us to believe that what we're seeing is not true. Let's continue. I'm sorry, y'all.
And one of those cops died after an interaction here, and his family sure as hell believes.
Okay, let's get to this then. Since they're talking about everybody who died and stuff, let's see what this says right here. The people who died on January 6th, well, Ashley Babbitt, Kevin D. Green's son died of a heart attack, collapsing on the sidewalk west of the Capitol on January 6th. Okay, so let me understand. Didn't say he was beat to death. Heart attack. Was he out of shape? I'm questioning that. Then we got Roseanne Boylan. She was stomped to death, and yet they pulled people away while they were trying to give her CPR. Benjamin Phillips, the founder of a pro-Trump website called Trump Rue, died of a stroke. Okay, so these sound like all Trump supporters, and the cop just died of a heart attack. What about this? Mr. Green's son and Mr. Phillips died of natural causes, the Washington Medical Examiner said in April. He added that Mrs. Boylan's death was caused by an accidental overdose. Interesting. In the days and weeks after the riot, 5 police officers who had served at the Capitol on January 6th died. Wait a minute. In days after? How do you die after? You telling me you done made it through the hardest part of the insurrection, and then you go home and you're so stressed out over those people who was walking between the velvet ropes and stuff? You died? You're telling me you are a police officer trained to deal with situations like this, and that situation was so stressful that it caused you to die for some reason afterwards? But it's interesting that the Democrats been running around saying that all these people were killed right then. Oh, Officer Derek Sicknick, that's the one they really use, y'all, of the Capitol, who was attacked by the mob, died on January 7th. That's not January 6th. That's the same guy they said was beat to death with a fire extinguisher and all of that stuff and a water hose and stuff. And then come to find out he died of a heart attack. And his mother even said that none of that stuff was true, but they're still saying it is. Jeffrey Smith on the Metropolitan Police Department killed himself after the attack. Wow, that's odd. All these cops that was just killing themselves, having heart attacks. It's almost as if they might have not been in on what was supposed to be happening and could have been people who say, dude, that's not what happened. I mean, I would hate to think these people decided to suicide themselves. I'm just saying. And then finally, Howard S. League Ben Good of the Capitol Police also died by suicide 4 days after. So all of these cops just decided to mysteriously commit suicide after this. And yet all the other ones that were not there were told to stand down, take the day off, even though all of these people were coming to the Capitol and they probably should have been there. Maybe some of these guys didn't get the memo. Maybe they didn't take the time off. Nah, don't worry about giving me the day off. I want the extra hours. Okay, you sure you want them? Yeah, I want them. Okay, so you're going to make me have to suicide. You understand that? We can't have no loose ends. Yeah, running around. So I'm just wondering about that whole narrative about these people killed themselves. Because Joe Scarborough
directly related to this. I really really know. This is just one of these moments. And again, I have friends and family members that think like this. I don't know where they're getting their information.
Got common sense.
But I'm reminded as they're trying to blame everybody from Antifa to Nancy Pelosi that it was Kevin McCarthy who was screaming at the top of his lungs, along with other Republicans who were besieged inside the Capitol building while all of these Trump supporters were going.
Now look at all these Trump supporters, because I'm seeing guys there with big old helmets that I only see on people from Antifa. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of young people right there in that still photo right there, looking like they come straight out of Antifa. We don't bring masks and big old army helmets to rallies and things of that nature. Yeah, I'm concerned. Plus, he's talking about blaming everybody for this J6. Well, that's what they're doing. They're going around on this witch hunt, trying to blame Trump. They're trying to blame all of the Republicans that had a conversation with him. Might have bumped into Trump in the hallway or something. Might have had a phone call, maybe a text message. They're trying to drag in everybody and say that all of y'all are responsible for the J6 thing. Not to mention, they're trying to blame all of the conservatives. Thus, you get Mayor Garland and the bootleg FBI director, Homeland Security, all of them trying to drum up fake narratives and fake statistics of white supremacy, white nationalism, extremism. And then you finally get the dirtball himself, Joe Biden, getting up there, making a speech with the devil background, talking about the greatest threat is white supremacy and all of this stuff and all of that. See, who's blaming who? But Joe Scarborough apparently is trying to say we're the ones blaming everybody but the real people.
Going in trying to kill Mike Pence and other people.
After Donald Trump told them to go to the Capitol.
After Donald Trump told them.
Okay, see, now look at the play in words. After Donald Trump told them to go to the Capitol. See, now notice, at first he says told them to go kill Mike Pence. How are they going to kill Mike Pence? That's my question, because remember my video I did, if you haven't, go back and check it out, where it showed that how the Democrats cropped a picture of that noose and that gallows to make it look like it was really high up and it was really a legitimate option to hang Mike Pence on that, when we saw another photo where this little short girl was standing there with her head right at the noose and her feet was still on the platform to show that it was a fake gallows. And how did that gallows get there? Nobody saw them put that there. Nobody's been arrested for dragging that gallows or building the gallows out there. Nobody? Okay, I wonder how I got there. But secondly, that fragile, flimsy rope would have never hung Mike Pence or anybody else. But yet, this man is saying that they were going to hang Mike Pence, and then his girlfriend comes in and says, yeah, and Trump told him to go over there. She didn't say Trump said go hang Mike Pence, though. But in the context, you might be fooled if you were a lesser life form. You might be fooled to think that's what Trump told them to do, to go over there and hang Mike Pence. So now you're getting away with sliding in little statements like that, piggybacking off of the other one, and trying to infer that Trump told them to do all of this stuff.
Ahead of time.
To
do it. And by the way,
ahead of time to do it.
Some of those timelines were just absolutely bizarre.
I know it's bizarre because
all happened.
You're not correcting them, though.
Donald Trump was still speaking.
Yeah, help him out, Mika.
But yeah, Donald Trump couldn't stop this when we know. You just know it was a matter of fact that
he struggled.
When he told them to leave,
struggling.
They left. So,
well, then what's the problem? So you wanted him to stop in the middle of his speech. Did you think somebody was going to run up there while he's talking, Mr. President? You know what? The Capitol right now is under attack. He finished his speech. Once he heard and tried to get all the details together, then he came out and said, go home. And then they went home. So what are you talking about, Joe? And you never even made sense of the timeline. You just said some of those timelines are bizarre because your audience won't question it. They won't say, well, why don't you go ahead and correct them then? Tell us what the real timeline was. But he knows that what these smart people in the town hall meeting said was accurate. So all he can do is try to undermine it by saying it's bizarre. And then his butt has the nerve to say, and then they said Trump couldn't stop it. Did you expect Trump to jump in the beast like they said he did and start fighting with the Secret Service and stuff? Get over there, jump out there, run up in front of all these people and say, everybody go home. Did you think that's what he was going to do? He didn't go there after he heard what was going on, gathered his information, came out, told everybody to go ahead and go home peacefully. But yet, here's this man up here trying to pretend like these people are dumb and like we're dumb. Last ditch effort, y'all, but we're too smart for him.
This is, again, you've done a great job.
No, you haven't.
I know.
You did a great job of it backfiring.
But I will tell you, this is what I hear all the time, personally.
Yeah, from smart people.
I just have to stop, communicating on issues like this with friends if I want them to remain friends because
you're a big.
They've been lied to. And they've
been lied to by you.
Accept that lie, or they've been duped into believing that these were just peaceful protests.
Hilarious.
And that breaking through windows and beating the hell out of cops is okay.
I've never seen more young Trump supporters in my life. Man, look at all of them. They're just all in front of that Capitol with, their Antifa helmets and stuff like that. And yeah, and look at those cops right there just pretending to try to stop those people. That's very interesting. So, Joe Scarborough and Mika and the rest of that crew, their job is to come out and say, wow, that didn't go very well. So now we got to try to go ahead and undermine everything that those people said and help this young lady out right here who that whole town hall meeting backfired on her. And let's hear from her as we close.
That's a message that they sent, that this was much ado about nothing. So,
yeah.
Any more insights on those answers from, it seemed to me, basic.
Wow, yeah, those cops are really trying hard.
Americans, like my family members, people I grew up with.
People that are smarter than you. People who know you're fake.
Supporting Ronald Reagan and George Bush and Mitt Romney to this.
New party.
That is a question way above my pay grade. But I will say it's so important that.
Wow, look at those cops just standing up on the wall.
Don't avert our gaze.
Doing nothing, hands in the pocket.
People have turned away from looking at the actual fact pattern of what happened that day on January 6th and are instead choosing to cherry pick their own historical narrative. President Trump.
Kind of like you guys. Choosing to turn away from the fact pattern as you guys left out all of those facts that I just ripped off during this whole video right here. So let me see. Y'all are choosing to not recognize Ray Epps involvement in that. You're choosing to not recognize Nancy Pelosi turning down all of those National Guard people. You're choosing to recognize the fact that Trump never said go over there and do anything. And in fact, he said go and let your voices peacefully be heard. However, y'all did come out and say that, well, Ray Epps, even though he said, yeah, Capitol, but he did that peacefully though. He said go peacefully and stuff like that. Trump didn't get the benefit of the doubt from saying that, but Ray Epps, he did. Because see, Ray Epps, he couldn't have been an operative planted in there along with John Sullivan and many others. But anyway, as they cherry pick through all of that information, interesting to me, and she's saying that we're deceived. I think it's the opposite. We're too smart for them.
Chief among them, given that one of the inaccuracies that you heard parroted there, that Nancy Pelosi could have defended the Capitol. That's something that he has really been putting out there, and I believe he recently put out on one of...
Now, see, once again, mis and disinformation. Yeah, like she could have stopped it, defended the Capitol. This is something that they will go back to later and say, now, when we say she could have defended the Capitol, we were saying that, like, what was she supposed to do? Go out there and physically stop these people or, whatever? What we're saying is, why didn't she have enough police on staff? Why did her, Bowser, and Mr. Burns, aka Chuck Schumer, why did those folks all decide, nah, man, let's go ahead and give some folks the day off. Let's go ahead and lower the security. Let's go ahead and reject the 10 to 20,000 National Guard troops that Trump is offering. So yes, she could have protected the Capitol. She could have stopped it by accepting Trump's offer. But this lady right here is not including that in her statement. And I have to point it out. I hate that I even got to do it, but I'm doing it so that anybody who is not aware of the deception that comes out of these people can see in real time what they're doing. They're excluding information. They're bending it and twisting it to make it look a different way.
Of those social networks that I can't even keep track of because he's always shifting around because he's banned or whatnot.
Oh, look at that. Low blow. He's banned and whatnot.
This, though, is not an isolated belief set. It is widespread.
Yeah, because we're smart.
And you have a subset of Republicans who are really embarrassed by what happened on January 6th. And you hear, they don't want to talk about it at all.
Yeah,
but then within the silo chambers of where news is coming to different voter groups, these voters are being bombarded with conspiracy theories and lies about what happened, so much so that the original imagery of what happened, they are ready made with a narrative to push and to dispel that Donald Trump did anything wrong at all.
Or here's another theory. It could be that with the new images and footage that came out, we're now deciding that you guys are part of a big old psych op right there, a big old false flag right there. Because when we see people that have alternative footage of buses pulling up when Antifians getting off of it, when we see John Sullivan walking hand in hand with a whole group of people calling him brother and saying we're accomplishing stuff and we're going to burn stuff down with his camera on his side like this, walking around telling his girlfriend we did it and all of that, and y'all don't recognize that, and y'all telling us there was no Antifians in there, there was no Black Lives Matter in there, and yet our eyeballs are seeing something totally different when y'all saying these cops were completely overwhelmed and in danger, and we see them throwing their arm around people, taking selfies, asking them kindly, hey guys, just make sure you cut off the lights before you leave, everybody's okay, waving them in, all of that, and you're trying to get us to ignore all of that alternative information because it destroys y'all raggedy narrative that this was the worst thing since January 6th. And we got to stop every smart, non-complicit, non-rhino Republican who recognize what we recognize, getting into office and jamming up our agenda, or even worse, exposing us, doing investigations, and putting us out there and revealing that this mess was nothing but a big old hoax. And I gotta say it softly because people are listening. But that's what it was. And yet, these people are part of it. And we just watched it all play out. So I want to go ahead and give kudos to all of those people who participated in the town hall meeting. I had to come in late. You know what I'm saying? I don't never get invited to those things. But they don't want to see the likes of me there. But I had to go ahead and try to insert myself and get my blows in too somehow. And then on the back end, clean up the mess that they tried to clean up when these town hall people destroyed them, which is sending out Mika and Joe to try to push more propaganda and undermine all those intelligent people. But boy, I tell you, that backfired too. I want to be a part of the backfire. Pop, pop, pow, bang, da, dang, dang. Now, I need y'all to do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Those links are below. Also, please, please, please go open up a Rumble account. Follow me on Rumble. Say what's up to me. I got videos over there that I have not put on YouTube yet. And YouTube, as you know, suspended me for some reason. And I worry about that. And I want it to be where you guys could find me on another platform. Right now, I'm starting to focus a lot on Rumble and I need those numbers to grow. So please, please, please type in the notes, hey, I'm on it. Send me a message. I'm going over to subscribe to Rumble. I want to see those numbers go up. All right. Because I'm going to start doing live shows over there where I ain't got to censor what I'm saying during my live show. All right. Do that. And if you can, donate to my channel. I got links below this video because I know I probably won't get no commercials. And hit that like button, share my videos. Make sure you're still subscribed if you've been unsubscribed. Make sure your notifications are turned on and set to all. All right. That's pretty much it. Don't forget, check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like their products, put Kevin in the promo code, you'll get a 20% discount. Other than that, we'll see y'all at the next backfiring town hall meeting.